Okay, so now I don't know what everyone's interest is over here, but my original conversation was with Mrs. Leeds. I just want to bring up what we discussed then, because this is what everything will be learning will be more or less around this. So now, the original thing when I spoke to Mrs. Leeds, she told me there was about Moshiach Psak, the Rabbanim should pass from Moshiach Vadai. And that's the second thing she told me was about, and she asked me if I have any material in English, which we just discussed. Okay, now, to come to this is the response regarding Moshiach Vadai with the Rabbanim, or regarding anything about Moshiach with the Rabbanim. So let me just tell you like this. I have, Baruch Hashem, I have a common language. I'm not a Rav, but I have the Torah language to speak with the Rabbanim. I've been speaking with every Torah figure almost in Lubavitch, unless I didn't know and told me the Torah figure, then I may have missed them. I went for several years. I went after every single Torah figure in Lubavitch, and actually sat down with them on this and many things on Moshiach. And I never had a situation that I should have someone say they had said something wrong. On the contrary, the response that I had was very positive. Yeah, when I initially approached some of them, they would dismiss me outright because, again, it's Moshiach. It was a very, very hard, lot of work to get to the Rabbanim, to get them to sit down, to communicate with them. That was a lot of hard work, very lot of work. Going on for a very long time. But once I sat down with the Rabbanim, put the topic of Moshiach and discussed it, I didn't have the situation that anyone should tell me there's something wrong. On the contrary, the large majority were all very inspired. That's one thing. The next thing is, there was never a situation that anyone who I spoke to, they may have been happy with what I said, however much it was, there never was a follow-up. That means to say, there was never any movement from the side of this person I'd spoken to that they should want to inquire more about. In other words, I basically said that we are, the importance of this. I basically said that differently, but there's never ever follow up from that they should come back to me and actually try to understand. So now, well, the thing is, now let me just say, I do this continuously. That means, if you get me today, on a normal day, I can tell you, I'm now in contact with so and so on, someone, so on, so and so and so and so, and so and so and so and so. One person, two people, maybe it's more, communicating something about Moshiach, and these are all, we're talking all about learned people in the Lubavitch. So I have it, it's constantly on my agenda, as it's always different people. They have never had a situation that anyone in Lubavitch, after being able to discuss this with people, and actually people seeing how beautiful it is, and how it could be understood differently. Are we fine? Yeah. Okay, the same. Not that anyone should come back and have any interest in to want to know more about it. Now, there, Baruch Hashem, there are people who are not from the Torah figures of Lubavitch. I'm not trying to put knocking one down. No, this is this. But they, not the Torah figures of Lubavitch. Some people who are very strongly involved in it, very strongly, and they actually commit a lot of effort to it. But when talking about the Father Torah people of Lubavitch, this is what's happening in general. There's one exception. Someone actually called me over to discuss it. It happened one time several years ago. This was a very prominent person. He actually called me up. He wants to discuss it over. We had a whole discussion. Let's not go into it. But that's happened one time. So now, when you're talking about trying to get something, that opponent to agree to something, I'm in it the whole day, and there is no movement. The alternative to this is to go around to people in Lubavitch, to everybody, and try to get them to understand what is going on over here. Because when you put your mind to it, what happens is, when the whole new world opened up for you, you have Moshiach is not going to come a narrow agenda. It's going to come everything you're learning. You're going to begin to see how the Rebbe has developed and built up a whole platform for Moshiach, and it's amazing. One of the things is the way we teach this. So now, let me just work with it. Well, my effort has been in the last few years is trying to get across to the yeshivas. Why the yeshivas? Because you must understand with the learning, the Torah mind of Lubavitch is developed in yeshivas. Yeshivas, that's what the Torah mind is developed. And this is where the mashpiyim, everything we're getting, but they're getting the implication from the yeshivas. So I had gone around, this is going back many years already. I've gone around, and what we're teaching in yeshivas is like this. We had chassidus from all the Rebbeim, came the Rebbe, and started teaching us this Tafshin Yud, and now we actually in the Shvat. So it's this is when the Rebbe actually started teaching us the Rebbe's Mahalach and Chassidus. Started actually today. Actually, you find it right in the very first mimer, which is very interesting to know. But anyways, let's leave it for the moment. The first Pasuk Tafshin Yud. So now the Rebbe started to take to the whole of Torah's Chassidus, take to the whole of Torah. Well, let's discuss the whole Torah's Chassidus. And started with saying it in his way. What's now the way the Rebbe had all the Mamorim and everything he had said, it actually opened up open ground to Moshiach. That means to say, the fact that we don't fully recognize Moshiach is astounding, because the Rebbe had sort of created a most amazing platform that Moshiach comes in right in. Right? Yeah. This is what now. But when going in yeshivas, I deal a lot with people who teach in yeshivas. I'm always in learning. There is everything that Rebbe has learned is being taken on a very abstract level. So you have the haros of the Rebbe, the shlichus of the Rebbe. You have the Mesiras Nefesh of Chassidim to look to the Rebbe. It's Valdik. When we're talking about developing the Rebbe's, the tradition is something which belongs to the court of the Mashpiyim, the Torah scholars, to take the Rebbe's Torah and come to understand the Rebbe was never speaking about anything abstract, but the Rebbe took the whole of Torah's Chassidus and brought it down, mamish to the Metzias Gashmi of this world. He brought it down to the level that the Ben Chomish Mikra should be able to relate to it. This is not what the way we teach in yeshivas. They teach yeshivas abstract. Not only teaches Chassidus taught abstract, when it comes to the Rebbe's Mamorim, which the Rebbe actually takes the concepts of Chassidus and makes it actually connects it to Olam Hazeh, because we're so oblivious to the fact that the Rebbe is actually connecting it to Olam Hazeh. The hardships we face in understanding the Rebbe's Mamorim are above the many other Mamorim of Chassidus. Why? Because the Mamorim of Chassidus are speaking about spiritual abstract concepts. The Rebbe is taking this concept and connecting it to reality. And what's happening is, it doesn't occur to us that it's actually connecting it to reality, even though the Ben Chomish, the Mikra, or anyone who would actually learn it would see this is the wording is actually connecting it to reality. Because we don't take it that way, we find there's a terrible hardship understanding what the Rebbe says. What's happened over here is, and this is something actually it's not going to do today, but we can do it. It's possible to do one day. I have it prepared in writing, and etc. Take concepts of Chassidus, the most abstract concepts of Chassidus, and you show how the Rebbe's Mahalach, you can take this concept of Chassidus to explain it to anybody. This is the most abstract concept, the most complicated concept of Chassidus, and this can be explained to anybody. But the way we would usually learn it, the way the Rebbe has explained it, would be harder than anything else. Why? Because we learning the Rebbe, we're seeing it as something above everything else. No, it's not above. The only thing the Rebbe is doing is above. It's just connecting it to below. Yes, that is above anything else. Can you imagine to connect everything above to below? I'm telling you all of this to bring out, trying to explain that we have here something I'm very lucky for a long time. There is a basic unawareness that has never been worked through the system. This is how the Rebbe connected everything to Olam Hazeh, and therefore Moshiach is the most obvious thing. There's nothing more logical to do than Moshiach, and we're not aware of this, but it's not. It's like anything. It's part of the Torah. Concept of Chassidus we all know because we brought up with it in yeshivas. This is our common talk, our common learning. Chassidus. In yeshivas, there's common learning everywhere in the shiurim, in the classes. When it comes to Moshiach, it's a narrow agenda of something which Rebbe had pushed. And it's not meant to be that way, because everything that Rebbe had said was all with Moshiach. And if you don't see the Moshiach element, you're actually taking the whole everything that Rebbe said, putting it way up. You're losing contact in a large extent. And this has to bring Mashiach on. Once we realize this, Mashiach will come so simple. The way I usually put it is like this, that you can take any person in the world, any Ben Chamish or a Havdalah Goy, you can explain everything the Rebbe had said about Mashiach. You don't have to say one word, you don't have to mention the word Mashiach once. You don't have to. I'm just saying how it's so easy to explain it. It's so connects to people. You don't have to mention the word Mashiach. You don't have to even mention the word Geula. You can give him everything if you just understand what's going on over there. The person will eventually realize, hey, this must be Mashiach. The person, this is, I just want to show how it's possible to do. So what we're having here over here, we have a situation with Mashiach and Geula. How do we communicate Mashiach and Geula? So definitely Mashiach and Geula has to be communicated by stating clearly Mashiach. That's very clearly from the Rebbe. There's no question about it. But in the situation where you're a person that wants to hear about Geula, there should be no problem to explaining everything of Geula. Maybe a Samara, maybe a Havdalah Goy, I don't know who, or even a person who is from the left and above, doesn't want to hear about it. You can speak to him about it. He will eventually come, his mind is going to shift eventually alone. Okay, so I sort of gave this whole introduction to try and explain what I started up with and where we're going to. Now, what we'll do today is, I'll go through, I've recently given a shiur somewhere here, and I prepared these papers. And these papers, I just understand, are very longish, and there are a lot of material here. It's impossible for us to go through this whole material, but I will do it very shortly. Trying to give you I hope today to go through all of these 5 sheets, 6 sheets, that's fine. 6 sheets, right? No, it's fine. Okay, there's 5 sheets here. I'll try to go through the whole thing today. The only way I have these papers anyways, and if I already have it, you may as well hold on to it. You have it in front of you. This way you see I'm speaking from everything. In other words, everything I said comes right out from the sources. There's nothing, it's all there. And we sort of, I hope at the end of we finish up today, we get a whole picture. And the coming back to our original conversation is that if we have 1 or 2 shiurim and we can communicate, maybe we could work on English material if you have the ability to. Okay. Okay, so now, So now we're going to start here very simply. Here we're talking about the Moshiach is, as we all know, is a time when we're going to get reward. It's a time of reward. That's what we're all waiting for, a reward to happen in the time of Moshiach. So now, what we're going to discuss today, this whole idea of Moshiach being a reward. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually show, this is something that I've explained through all the years, that Moshiach is an Avodah. In other words, let's understand it very clearly. From all the years, Moshiach, going back before Tafshin Yud, going back, anyone would think about Moshiach, it was a time of schar, it was a time of reward. If you question whether Moshiach was a time of reward, it's amazing, for sure it's a time of reward. Elav Shvi is sure a time of reward. These are all time of reward. What the Rebbe did throughout, we're going to have this soon, we're going to see how the Rebbe sort of turned over the Mashiach. I was saying Mashiach, I'm not referring on to Mashiach. This includes Tchias Amazing as far as you go. If the Rebbe turned it over to Avodah, now this is maybe very saddening. Here we always dreamt about Mashiach being a time of reward, and here the Rebbe is going to have the Rebbe sort of flipped it over to time of Avodah. So we're losing here our whole anticipation about Mashiach is all about getting the reward, and here the Rebbe is turning it over to Avodah. Does that question sound, is this question feasible? Huh? The Rebbe we always knew Mashiach is reward. The Rebbe is turning it over and telling us it's an Avodah. So I mean, not only most Mashiach, I mean, the students see it, it's amazing, everything. So isn't that sort of a bit of a disappointment? Because we were always expecting a reward, and here they're telling us it's Avodah. So let me just say how it works. So what it works is, and you say it's a reward, you're waiting for something coming up from above. As long as something is coming up from above, we may relate to it slightly, we may not relate to it fully, we may not be able to relate to it. Why? It's coming from Hashem. What do we understand about Hashem? So as long as Mashiach is a reward, it's abstract. Okay, and the more we go, it's more abstract. The moment we take Mashiach and we're going to turn it over to Avodah, okay, fine. There's not a thing about Mashiach we cannot understand. So you can take the most powerful statements as Rebbe said, right? Let us just take the statement that Rebbe said, the 770 is going to move over to Yerushalayim. Imagine how the globe, the whole world is going to change in that situation. Okay, the way we have to understand the 770 going to Yerushalayim as a purely logical, natural event. Okay? Everything, the focus all over here is always going to be a natural, everything's natural. This is something that Rebbe has expounded upon through all the years. It's there all the years. Going back to the early years, you have it. I'll Rebbe explain this. So just coming back to our point, by saying it's an avodah, what it does is it gives us the ability to fully relate to it. It gets to relate to everything, our common day of work. We relate to it very well. What I have to do, my different things I have to do, which is in part of my life. The same thing now we're going to be able to relate to Moshiach by understanding that Moshiach is an avodah. Now, in order to do this, we're going to take the first thing which the Rambam says. We have line number 1 over here, where the Pasuk says, that's line number 1, right? If you do what the Torah mitzvahs which I tell you to do, I'm going to give you, I'll give you the reward. This is what the Torah is full of it. If you do a Torah mitzvah, Hashem is going to give us the reward, okay? Very simple, right? Who knows this? The Ben Chamish learns Chumash, knows this, right? The Rambam discusses it. We're going to have it very soon. Wonderful. Okay. We have this pasuk. Remember this pasuk. Because with this pasuk here, which the Ben Chamish Lemikra knows, everything about Moshiach, which we're going to be quoting, discussing, the answer to all of this lies in this pasuk. Okay? What it means to say, the Ben Chamish Lemikra, if you understand this pasuk, if I do what Hashem says, I'm going to be given a reward, fine. That is going to answer everything about Moshiach, most fascinating things about Moshiach, most complicated things, will all lie in one answer. And we're going to see how the Rebbe continuously, however far we discuss Moshiach, the highest madrigas of Chassidus, however far we're going to go, the Rebbe is going to take that madriga and going to bring it back to this one. And it's all going to relate to us. So now let's go to line 2 to number 5. And line 2 to number 5. This is the Rambam. This is very well known Rambam. The Rambam explains that the Torah has promised us rewards if we do Torah mitzvahs, but there's an exception to this rule. What is the exception to this rule? The exception to this rule is Zman HaGolus. What is Zman HaGolus? Zman HaGolus is a time when we didn't actually follow everything that Elisha said. We didn't listen, and therefore the Elisha puts us into Golus. And what happened in Golus? In Golus, we are limited in our ability to do Torah mitzvahs. We're limited in our ability to do Torah mitzvahs, so then we are limited in the reward. We're restricted in doing Torah mitzvahs, so the reward is also going to be limited. So what do we have over here? We have it very simply. What Hashem did, He gave us a Torah mitzvahs, which includes also meaning that you have to use your seichel and your initiative, creativity, how to lead your life. That's called masechem. That's what the Torah says. Torah tells us do mitzvahs and also lead a normal, healthy, balanced life, etc., etc. If we do that, we're following these directions of the Torah. The Eibishter has promised us a reward. He's promised us a world. The world is out. That's the Eibishter promise. It's written in the Torah, right? So the Rambam tells us, this is all very true, but there's an exception to this rule. What is the exception to this rule? It's Zman HaGolus. Zman HaGolus, we're restricted in our ability to do Torah. And mitzvahs, so therefore, we're restricted in the reward. Okay. So now we have these two situations. One is when we do what Hashem said, and when we don't do Golus, when we're restricted in what we can do, and therefore we're not going to receive the reward. So this is these two things we just now mentioned, right? About the reward and the Golus of time when we're restricted in the reward. This is everything which we're going to be learning, right? And this should explain everything. So now I'm going to jump over right to page number 2. Page number 2 on line 7. So here's a quote. Without reading it from the inside, just telling the quote is there. Check it up if you want. Anyways, it's right there. The quote is in front of you. This is coming from the Hadran of the Rambam. Hadran of the Rambam in Tov Shin Nun Beis. So, what do we see in this Hadran? Here the Rebbe explains that this Hadran, the Gemara says, in Moshiach, what's going to happen? Not the Moshiach. I'm sorry. Here's amazing what's going to happen. Here's amazing. Mrs. Taylor's. There won't be any more mitzvahs. So how did the Rebbe explain that Mrs. Taylor's means? Mrs. Taylor's means the commandment won't exist. Why will a commandment not exist? Because we're going to do it naturally. Therefore, if we do it naturally, we will not need the commandment, right? Wonderful. What do we see from this Rambam is that the point which I brought up right in the beginning. Here we're talking about Chiyas HaMesim. Chiyas HaMesim, according to, from all aspects, from everywhere where you're going to look at it, when it comes to Moshiach Mashiach, the discussion, different levels, when it comes to the Chiyas HaMesim, from all aspects, that is the time of reward, right? What do the Rebbe tell us over here? What the Rebbe tells us over here, you should know, Chiyas HaMesim, the time of reward, the Torah mitzvahs, meaning our avodah is not going to disappear. Our avodah is going to stay. The only thing which may disappear is our existence. My existence as an independent person, who has the choice to do what I want or not what I want, or to do what I want, or to follow what Hashem does, that may disappear. Because in Moshiach, we will be doing Torah mitzvahs naturally. So if anything is going to disappear, is my ego, my disconnection to Hashem. But my avodah is never disappearing. So you see it right here. When you talk about Chiyas HaMesim, which on all accounts is a time of reward, what do we see? That my avodah remains. Okay, so now just to go back a bit, the description of Moshiach Mashiach in Chassidus is description of Moshiach Mashiach, we just spoke with in page number 1, but this is referring back to it in line number 6. That the description of Moshiach Mashiach in Chassidus is a time of Shleimus Kima Torah Mitzvahs. I'm sure you know about this. Moshiach Mashiach is Shleimus Kima Torah Mitzvahs, something we all know. We read it and repeated it thousands of times. Coming from the Rambam, so this is here's the quote here on line number 6 and page number 1.
Can you repeat it a bit slower? What the last thing you said? You went a bit too fast. Very good.
That's what I'm always told. It's fine. Doesn't work. Doesn't help.
You're really good. You're a genius. It's just I want to get it down to my level.
I will try my best. So now, what we're saying over here is what we're doing is we're actually changing the understanding about Moshiach. Moshiach is not the way we usually understand it. Is a time of reward. As long as we say Moshiach is a time of reward, it's something coming from above. Things which come from above, we don't always understand. So the thinking that Moshiach is a reward, what we do is we lose our contact with it, and we do not fully understand what Moshiach is. What the Rebbe has done is explained that Moshiach is not a reward; it's an avodah. When you say the Moshiach is an avodah, what it actually means, avodah becomes part of my life. It's something we have to do. If it's something a part of my life, to be sure, I understand it fully. So we're going to take, what we're doing now is we're going to take Moshiach and sort of show how the Rebbe shifts it from a schar, from reward, to avodah. So this is what we just now said. The way Chassidus explains Moshiach Mashiach, that's the shleimus of Kima Torah mitzvahs, meaning that is the time we're going to be doing Torah mitzvahs. Not it's all that's the shleimus of our country. In Zmayna Golus, we're not doing Torah mitzvahs so much. We're limited. In Moshiach Mashiach, we're going to be doing great shleim. We're going to be doing all Torah mitzvahs. So the avodah in Moshiach Mashiach is going to increase, not decrease.
Oh.
As a result, there will be life is going to flourish. No problem. Yeah, we can get to that. But the Mashiach is an avodah.
Well, I have a question. Some people say that mitzvahs will be bottled. What you're saying is the opposite. Mitzvahs will not be bottled. We'll be doing the same mitzvahs or more.
Okay. Well, that was right now. Here we have a second quote where the Rebbe explains, and we say mitzvah is going to be bottled, means that the commandment coming from Hashem is going to be bottled, that we're going to do it naturally on our own. We won't need to be commanded by Hashem. Okay?
No, but we're going to have the will, we're going to have the desire to do it.
Right. And that is feedback. So now what we see here, the Moshiach is a time of avodah. I want to ask you, am I speaking too fast? So people everyone can't tell me.
Where's your accent from?
Where's
your accent from?
It comes from England.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm speaking, is it too fast or is it manageable? Are you able to understand what I'm saying, or should I?
A little slower.
We'll try.
Thank you.
I'll try.
You have a lot of teeth. You teach very well. We just want to understand it.
So nice.
No, I'm very curious.
Yeah. Now, that basically we just brought out that Moshiach is a good kind of avoiding. Now we're going to go to another thing. Now, anyone who is in a Babich nowadays, learns about Torahs, you hear the word atzmas. Atzmas is a term which is commonly used. We throw it out, we throw it around very easily without too much issue. Yeah, fine. We're going to discuss about this thing of atzmas right now over here. So we have over here online, it's here. This is actually going over its line. Let's go to page number 3. We have several quotes here, all referring to the union of atzmas. So let me just give you in a gist what is being said in all these quotes. This is on page number 3. The thing is like this. The way it works in Chassidus is that there is, I'm sure you may have heard of it, we have the Sus of the Leila, which awakens the need to do Avodah, right? You all know about that. There's a Sus of the Leila, awakening from above. The first thing, anything is awakening coming from above to awaken us to do the Avodah. You ever heard of this before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next thing is, we have to do our Avodah. That is called the Sus of the Sato.
So what's the Sus of the Leila is awakening from above?
And awakening from above, then the next thing is our cooperation. There's a awakening from above. Okay, to do the Avodah, we have to now do the Avodah.
So that's the Sus of the Sato.
Wonderful. Now, we have the Sus of the Sato. The next thing is, when we do our Avodah, what happens is, this is what we want to focus on. The next 2 stages. When we do our Sus of the Sato, what happens next is, there's an Sus of the Leila that follows. What does it mean, the Sus of the Leila which follows? It means that comes after I do my Avodah, I'm enlightened with greater light and greater understanding about the Eibishter, or greater love to the Eibishter, what it may ever be, because as a reward of my Avodah, I'm enlightened with a light coming from above. This is the response to my Avodah. This is the schar of my Avodah. So we have the Sus of the Leila, which follows my Sus of the Sato. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, it's coming to the final stage. The final stage is called, usually, the third is the Sus of the Leila. The third one. Why is it the third? Because it comes after the initial one, after the following one. This is the final Sus of the Leila. What is this Sus of the Leila? This Sus of the Leila is explained very clearly in Chassidus, comes totally from above. Why? Because however much avodah I do, I'm a nivra. I'm a human being. So there's only so much avodah I can do. The Eibishter has to give far much, has to give an offer far much than I can do. So therefore, I do my avodah and I get my reward. Yes, I do my Sus and I get my reward in the Sus of the Leila. After I've done all my avodah, and after the Eibishter has showered me with his reward, comes the final reward, which is above anything I could be ma'orer, I can cause to draw down from above, is a final Sus of the Leila. And this final Sus of the Leila is what is referred to as Vayei Mashiach, commanded the Chanav. This is what we're going to have your Moshiach. It's amazing. So the basic understanding of what we said over here is, that the Moshiach, the final reward is coming from where? From above. Everything we do is all the preparation stage. We're doing our avodah and we're receiving a reward. We do more avodah, we receive more reward. But then ultimately comes the final reward, which is above anything that we've ever done, and that is the gift. It's a matana, it's a gift from the Eibishter, which is coming from the Eibishter, and that would be a Moshiach. This is how it's explained in Chassidus. So now here we're going to have, here's 2 memorim, the Rebbe explains. The Rebbe's, now this is a way to common language and slight deviations here and there, but this is the basic way it is. Here we have 2 memorim where the Rebbe explains that this does not go very well with the concept of diribet achteinim. But diribet achteinim means not only the godliness is going to, the godliness, so the reward is going to come down here. It's diribet achteinim means that it's going to be accomplished by the beings down here. We in Tachtonim, we are going to be bringing down all of this godliness. And now Chassidus is telling us, we should know the final Sus of the Leila, the final the final reward is coming from above, so the Rebbe says that doesn't really go along with this idea of the Rebbe. It's not coming from us. So the Rebbe says, or explains, that as long as we and above, meaning the Eibishter and us, are going to be considered as two separate classes. There's us and there's Eibishter. We do something for him and he responds accordingly. Or sometimes he offers from his own report for us. But there's two different categories. There's us and Eibishter. As long as there's two different categories over here, so that's right. The final source of the Leila is going to come from him. That is as long as we are two different categories. When this is what happens. When we finish all our Avodah, and we've done all our Avodah, and Hashem has given us the reward according to our Avodah, at that point something changes. What changes is we are pushed into a different category. In other words, the Eibishter and us are not two different categories. So this final Shadreda is coming actually from us. Coming from us, just as before. Just here, we're doing it with a realization that we're not a different category for the Eibishter. We're not a different category from the Eibishter. We're one with the Eibishter. Therefore, Chassidus tells us it's coming from the Eibishter. Why they're coming from the Eibishter? Because as long as we were considered, that means in all along, in the normal way it is, that we are the Eibishter, two separate categories, yes. So this comes from us, that comes from the Eibishter. But when we've done all our Avodah as a separate category, we come to the stage where we actually come to identify with the fact that we're one thing with the Eibishter, we're one category, then everything, what the final result is also going to come through us. Was I understood?
That's amazing.
Now, this is a word where Atmos comes in. That we are doing it, and that is coming. We are doing it, and so let's put in the words of the Rebbe here. I'm shocked Atmos. Which means bringing down Atmos, which usually is bringing down Atmos would belong to the Eibishter himself. To bring it down, we can bring down Oiras, Yuduim, revelations from Hashem. Bring Hashem himself, that comes from Hashem. So here the Rebbe tells us very clearly, we bring down Hashem. Where the bringing down Hashem is coming from. It's a pretty And now, the next thing, which is number 3, it's going over to the end of page number 4, where the Rebbe explains, when we say that we have to bring down Atlas, this is what we just now said. When it comes to the stage where we've sort of completed our way, we come to realize that we and the Eibishter are all one. At that point, we can everything comes from us, even Atlas. Bringing down Atlas also comes from us. But nevertheless, when we say bring down Atlas comes from us, we can understand it in me such that I do a mitzvah, and that mitzvah which I do is going to bring down Atlas. So you have two things here: my action and what the effect of my action. I bring down Atlas. So here in this last quote, which is, as I said, from page number 3 over to page number 4, here the Rebbe explains, no, my mitzvah, that is Atlas. There's no cause and effect over here. There's no two entities, me and Atlas. No. So now what that means is me doing my avodah, that is Atlas. Okay. It's a bit hard to understand. We'll try to, okay. Before we finish, I don't know how far we're going to do tonight. I want to explain what that means. If the rest, what does it mean that we do our avodah in Atlas? What it basically is telling us.
Like according to the Hasidic term, not just Atlas. When you say Atlas, I want to know what you're referring to.
Okay, when we say Atlas, we mean the Eibishter on the highest level of the Eibishter we could imagine, or even anything above that.
Like the essence of Hashem.
Anything above anything we could imagine. The Hashem.
Okay.
Now, we're going to take this one step further, and we're going to see what's going to boil down to is anything which we attributed always to Hashem. We've been living for many years. Torah was given Matan Torah. There's many years. We have many generations Eden have gone through. We have the Chassidus. So we know there's many things which there's Hashem and us. Yeah? It's very obvious, very clear. Here, what we're going to see is, so now, let's put it down here, bringing the Geula. Yeah. Now here, by the way, there is no mention of bringing the Geula, which is very good. Why? Because you're going to see that this is a general perspective that has across the board, the whole Torah. Of course, the Torah is going to be, the Geula will be included in this also, but it's a general perspective. Now, what is it? What is this perspective? That what? That anything we attribute to Hashem, the Rebbe is going to, which would be, let's say, Moshiach. Bringing Moshiach, we all know, we can daven for Moshiach, we're obligated to daven, we have to yearn for Moshiach. But who can actually bring Moshiach? Who can actually bring the Geula? Who? That's Hashem. Hashem is going to choose Moshiach, he's going to send him to come. That is in Hashem's court. That's something we know. To go forcefully ourselves to go bring Moshiach is something which was we always knew was wrong to do. No, that lies in Hashem's court, right? We can dump it. What does it say in the Rambam? We have to yearn for Moshiach. Bring the Moshiach. No, we have to do the Avodas ago. Bring Moshiach. That is not in our court. That belongs to Hashem. Now we're going to see what so now, based on what we just now said, that where is Atmos? Now when I say Atmos again, we're meaning Hashem himself. Where is Atmos? This whole idea of saying that Atmos is in the midst, we can explain a little later. But anyway, let's just remain with it the way it is. Where is Atmos? In the midst of what I'm doing. So what it basically means is, anything which we have learned that is attributed to Hashem, basically, we have to do. And that is the only way it can be done. It's going to be it's coming from us. Anything which is attributed to Hashem we're going to do. Now, so this counts going to be astounding. What does it mean? Say, we have to go build the base of Mikdash. Remember, Moshiach is going to come. He's going to be building the base. He's meant to be building the base of Mikdash. Oh, we meant to go to Eretz. So now, let us just, it's not what we're getting to, it's not part of our conversation today. Just to break up, to explain the point here. What we're going to do is, everything the Torah has told us to do, we're allowed to do in Zman HaGolus. And everything the Rebbe has told us to do through all the years, those are the things which we Allah now can do. Through doing that, what the Rebbe has told us, and what we know from the Torah from all the years of Golus, by doing that, we can physically bring the whole Geula. So the whole Atmos is in our Avodah, and we can do it all, but not going away, deviating at one single point from anything that the Rebbe has told us all the years. You don't have to do anything that's exceptional and get out and go out of the system. No, we're not meant to be following the system. By going to the system, we can actually do the whole thing. The only thing is we have to change our perception. We have to realize that we once upon a time thought that this is a system of Torah mitzvahs which we can do in Zman HaGolus, and then we have the Rosh of the Rebbe, which the Rebbe sort of expounded the Torah mitzvahs, sort of put different things of Torah mitzvahs, brought them out to us. So we always knew this is what we can do. The mitzvahs of your Moshiach, that is something that's above us. So what we understand, if once we say that Atmos is in our doing of Torah mitzvahs is Atmos, therefore there's nothing which is not contained in our Torah mitzvah which we're currently doing today. The only change that it would be is, till now I thought my Torah mitzvahs had a restricted value. Like we said before, we have a restricted value. Now, based on what the Rebbe has told us, I know that these Torah mitzvahs don't have a limited value. Anything which the Torah has promised us about the Moshiach, however fascinating, however mind-boggling it is contained in my Torah mitzvah. I'm meant to be doing. It's contained in that. The only thing is I never thought of it this way. But once upon a time, we weren't meant to think of it this way. But the way that everything's teaching us, it's all in our Torah mitzvah. How is it in our Torah mitzvahs? It's something we can't go into it today, but this is the point we're going to reach to, and this is what the Rebbe is telling us. We have the ability to bring the Geula and so on. Now, what this understood was fine, or so this understood, am I by myself? I'm enjoying myself. I say, people with me? Are you with me?
I'm enjoying it too. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, fine. So now, so I just deviated here to try to show you the goal where we're going to get to with this. But now let's go back this idea of Atmos being in our mitzvahs. So now, here we're going to take, this is here on page number 4, which is basically with what we're going to conclude with today.
Do you have another one? What, it's Gimel or it's Dalet?
It's Gimel. On page number 4 is Gimel. There's Hamid Mitzvah. Now, this is a very hard sikha. It's a very hard sikha. And I go through a little piece of it. But this is the point. I want to more or less finish up with this today. So now, here the Rebbe is saying, here the Rebbe is telling us like this. We know in Chassidus, fine. The Rebbe is telling us like this, that in Chassidus it says, what is the greatest reward of your Moshiach? That time to get Atmos, the ageless pleasure which he has from our Torah mitzvahs, that pleasure which he has, we are going to feel the same pleasure. We're going to feel the pleasure of the ageless. And that is the greatest reward of the Moshiach. Whatever the Atmos feels in our Torah mitzvahs, we're going to feel the same. In the words of Chassidus, this is time of Avodas, the time of the ageless is going to come time again. That is the greatest reward of your Moshiach. This is what it says on Chassidus.
Can you repeat that again? I just want to make sure I heard it.
With the Abish's pleasure, which he has in Torah mitzvahs, the Abish has a time of just, that pleasure we are going to be feeling in your Moshiach. And this is the highest reward of your Moshiach. This is the way it's explained in Chassidus, and this is what the Rebbe repeats many times. Here in this Sikha, the Rebbe sort of goes a step further. The Rebbe does not suffice with that. And you're going to take everything and just turn it over. Okay? So this is what we're going to happen right now. Am I speaking too fast?
I'll drop slower.
I'll drop slower. Okay, fine. Okay. So now, the Rebbe asks here two questions on this idea of saying that that the ageless pleasure is going to come our pleasure. That is the greatest reward. The Rebbe asks 2 questions on this. The first question we'll leave. I don't understand it myself properly, but we'll take the second question. The second question is, the Rebbe said, you're telling us that what is going to be the greatest reward of your Moshiach, that the ageless pleasure is going to come my pleasure. So the Rebbe asks a very simple question. You learn in the Torah tells us, you have sukkim after suk, pasuk after pasuk, it tells us about the reward we're going to receive when Moshiach comes. There's no mention there about the timing of the ages, his pleasure should come my pleasure. So the Rebbe says that cannot be the full reward. In the Psukim of the Torah, it says something different. It says we're going to have rain. So what did the Rebbe answer? How the Rebbe says? The Rebbe says, what is the reward of your Moshiach? So the Rebbe goes here one step higher. And how did the Rebbe go one step higher? He goes by connecting it to the Rambam, which we had discussed in the beginning of the Shiur, when I said that everything with Chassidus tells us about something above that, the Rebbe connects it to Olam Hazeh. So here we're going to take the most abstract concept of Chassidus, which is the Abish's pleasure coming my pleasures, which is beyond anything we could conceive. Here the Rebbe is going to tell us there's something above that. And what is above that? This is something which everyone can connect to. The Ben Chamish the Mikra can connect to. But it's right there in the Rambam. It's in all the Psukim of the Torah. And what is it? The Rebbe explains like this. The Rambam says, we had mentioned before, that when I do Torah mitzvahs, there is a reward. Right? So when I have the ability, okay, so I have the reward, that reward gives me the ability to do more Torah mitzvahs. So what happens is it comes like a chain. I'm doing more Torah mitzvahs, there's more reward. So my ability to do Torah mitzvahs starts increasing. Now, so what the Rebbe says here, this is the reward of your Moshiach. The reward of your Moshiach. What is the reward? That schar mitzvah meaning the schar of doing one mitzvah is the fact I have now the ability to do another mitzvah. Okay? So now, what the Rebbe says is, we're now in Golus, right? I'm doing mitzvahs. I'm doing a mitzvah. And when I do a mitzvah today, I may have the reward, less, more, depending nowadays it's more than it used to be. But I may have the reward. But the reward is a limited reward. So how much after I do a mitzvah, how much ability do I have? How much chance do I have to do another mitzvah? I have a certain amount of chance. Also, how many mitzvahs can I observe? There's only a certain amount of mitzvahs I can observe in this amount of days. Moshe Mashiach, I will have the reward of this, my mitzvah of doing what I'm doing now. What is going to be my reward? In Moshe Mashiach, I'm going to be able to do the very same mitzvah with much greater perfection. And that mitzvah which I do in Moshe Mashiach is going to give me the ability to do another mitzvah, and the chain is going to continue to no end. That is the reward which is above the Abish's pleasure, coming my pleasure. Now, just to explain this, what does this mean? So the Rebbe is now basically done. He's taking the holy Moshe Mashiach. He's taking the most abstract concept of the Moshe Mashiach, the highest level of the Moshe Mashiach, which is the Abish's pleasure, coming my pleasure, which really defeats all logic, defeats all the boundaries. And the Rebbe is telling us that's not what it's all. It's not what it's all about. What is it? I'm going to be able to do mitzvahs. Huh? So we go. The Rebbe is making the body of Torah mitzvahs. He's expanded on it to no end and to no limit. So let us just explain this idea slightly. You have in the Tovshin on base, Tovshin on Aleph, the Rebbe had mentioned many times. I'm sure you all learned. You all know Chassidus is something called the Etzem, Neshama, Yechida. You all know about it, right? Sure, everyone knows about Yechida. Very good, wonderful. Well, Etzem Neshama, that's my highest thing I have, is my Etzem Neshama, right? What comes after that? After that come all the different capacities a person has, the different virtues he has, Tainu, Rotzen, Seichel, Midas, yeah? So, as a derivative of my Etzem Neshama, what is the derivative? One of the derivatives of my Etzem Neshama is that I can actually extend myself to somebody else, and I can communicate with another person. I can help another person. I can do things. So there is me, the highest part of me is my Etzem Neshama, which is Yechida. My ability to function and to do things, to achieve and to help other people, to do mitzvahs, is already a derivative of my Etzem Neshama. Very logical, which all makes sense, right? But the Rebbe didn't touch on another to the base. He turned this around, and he said the word to go. The pasuk in the Torah goes like this: "There's moida ani." Yechida shines by a person when he gets up in the morning. You all know that. When you get up in the morning, Yechida shines in the person. This is what is explained next to this, right? Am I saying anything you know? Okay. The Yechida in the morning. You have Yechida. Wonderful. Moida ani, I'm being moida, I'm praising Hashem. Ani goes in Yechida. My Yechida is praising Hashem. That moment, that's when Yechida shines. My Yechida is praising Hashem. The wording goes, moida comes before ani. My action, which I'm doing, praising Hashem, comes before the word ani. So the Rebbe says, this is what the Rebbe teaches us. Before my Yechida is my capacity to do what I'm meant to do. Or you have the words, to serve my master is before me. I'm created for him to serve him. Or in the words we had before, that in Moshe Mashiach and Chizah Mason, my ego may disappear, by my commitment to do mitzvahs will remain. So what we're saying over here is that before me, we always discuss, we always knew what are the highest, we're coming to the very, very top. What it means is my Yechida, my Etzem Neshama. Here the Rebbe is telling us there's something above that. What is that? To do and achieve, to do something, to do what Hashem wants. Or I'll give you another one example, just to help to understand this better. You have the word, which everyone knows, Hafotas Hamayonos Kutza, spreading the wellsprings forth. So the way the Rebbe always used to explain these words, you have three things there. You have the well springs, spreading it to the outside. So you have the well springs, that is a source. Spreading it is the action, taking the well springs, the water from well springs and spreading it forth. Where? To the outside. So what are the first thing you have there? The first thing you have is the well spring. And going through the years, the Rebbe always said how we have to be. If we want to spread all the light of Torah, we have to be connected to the source, to the wellspring. This is what the Rebbe explained through the years. Here in Toshin and Aleph, the Rebbe turned it around, similar to what we just now said. The Rebbe said, Before the wellsprings come, there is a spreading. Does that make sense? Before the wellsprings, there's a spreading. Doesn't make sense. This is what the Rebbe said. Before the wellspring, there's spreading out. The same thing, just as we said before. Before my yechida, before I recognize myself, there is my commitment to do. The Rebbe said, when I get up in the morning, Chassidus always tells us what shines out in me then is my yechida. So the Rebbe says, before my yechida. Yechida means I'm aware of myself. It's talking about me. Yechida is me. The Rebbe says, before I'm aware of myself, there's this insight I have of commitment to Hashem before I'm aware of myself. My commitment to Hashem, my commitment to function and do things properly and do. That comes before me. Okay, this is what the Rebbe is saying. Now all of this is what the Rebbe says. All of this, l'cheira, sort of doesn't fall in the way things were always explained. L'cheira. Secondly, how does it really work? They're spreading out the wellsprings before the wellsprings. There's my commitment to do before me. But if you look at it, this is actually the way. This is the way of life today. What is this? What does this mean? Once upon a time, when the opportunity for a person to do something was limited, you're in Golos. We lived in a ghetto. There was only so much I could do. It was very narrow what I could do. So who was me? There was me and what I can do. It was me. Me would be davening, for me, that's it, davening, connecting to Hashem. Then this is what I could do. Right? Today, there is, just like we said here in this Sikha, the Rebbe says in Moshiach, there's going to be unlimited opportunity to do mitzvahs. We're going to do one mitzvah. That's going to give us the opportunity to do another mitzvah. We're going to be complete full doing mitzvahs. So this situation is, we're still in Golos. But this situation, that is unlimited opportunity, is there available. That means today, what does it mean? We today, using our logical tools and skills, can find ways, initiatives, how to increase in Torah mitzvahs. Once upon a time, if someone wanted, sitting in the ghetto, if someone wanted to use their initiative, how to do creative and do Torah mitzvahs, he may end up in jail, etc., etc. Today, if someone is today, if I'm creative, how to do Torah mitzvahs, if I'm following the Rebbe's instruction, I'm not going to end up in jail. I'm going to be very successful. I'm going to have a lot of honor, people will respect me, etc., etc. In other words, there's unlimited opportunity to be creative and to increase and do what Hashem wants. What happens today in this situation, we come to realize, the way life is today, people, you have a lot of people today, everyone has their thing, unique ability, their message they feel they can share with the world. You have thousands of people today. They have their unique initiative, my invention, which I can contribute to the world. Everyone has their thing that they can do. What this brings out to us, that before a person's awareness of himself, there's a person has an ambition to creative, to change the world. You want to bring the Geula, you want to get the Rabbanim, you want to change things around. Once upon a time,
it's a very good thing. It's a positive thing. Everybody has the potential to make the change.
What we're saying over here, not only it's positive, it's above anything we knew before, but this is where my ability to function, my commitment to do, achieve, and accomplish, this will be the thing. There being the ambition of the person to be creative and be accomplished, that comes before me. Once upon a time, there was me. I was the first thing. My ability to extend myself, that was secondary. Something was a derivative of me. Today the Rebbe says, no, the me comes before, not the me, that my ambition to accomplish it becomes before me. So therefore now, going back to what it says in the Sikha, that what is the greatest reward, the Rebbe says, is not the pleasure of Hashem is going to come my reward. The pleasure is all about, is a narrow thing. Now in this context, pleasure is a narrow, it's a feeling, it's an amazing thing. But there's something above that. And what is that? What did the Eibishter do? The Eibishter didn't need Torah mitzvahs. The Eibishter wanted there should be a world, and Yidden should do Torah mitzvahs. He wanted there should be accomplishment. That is why the whole world was made. He wanted there to be an accomplishment. That is why our whole existence is here today. The same thing is, before myself, what is that? There's my ambition to accomplish. This is the words of the Rebbe's sister. Here the Rebbe here is talking about Moshiach Mashiach. He's talking about Moshiach. He says, we're going to have the ability to do mitzvahs. Every mitzvah is going to give us the ability to do another mitzvah. We're going to be creative. We're going to be expanding to no limit. That is greater than any pleasure. Here we're talking to now. What we have over here is, before we just learned the Sikha, and we quoted what the Rebbe says, that the greatest reward of Mashiach is going to be my ability to accomplish, right? To do another mitzvah, and do another mitzvah. That is labor, tremendous amount of labor. We're going to be doing mitzvahs. We always knew the Mashiach is all about reward, right? Here the Rebbe is telling us, this reward, pleasure, Hashem's pleasure, coming my pleasure, that is not enough. What is the Mashiach said the Rebbe? My ability to do one mitzvah and another mitzvah, because that's what Hashem wanted to do mitzvahs. And I'm going to be doing these mitzvahs which Hashem wanted to say. What is this meaning that I'm going to be doing mitzvahs? Means I'm going to be accomplishing. We take mitzvahs as a dry act. No. We're going to come to realize the mitzvahs. When I do what Hashem wants, it gives me unlimited ability to accomplish. Like the Rambam says, doing mitzvahs brings reward. I have reward, I have more to accomplish. I'll be able to more to accomplish. There's a person, so the Rebbe is telling us the seers of a person that what was before himself, a person has an ambition to accomplish. And that is what we're going to be realizing in Mashiach. And that is before, that's above pleasure. There is the ability to change everyone around you. And just to quote something from a Sikha of Yud in Tovshin Nun, every Rebbe said in Tovshin Nun, the Rebbe says every person has to be an institution today. Every person wants to change the world. Everyone has so much in themselves. They want to get the word out to everyone. The Rebbe said, so the Rebbe is confirming that is the way it's meant to be. Our ability to accomplish today comes before us. And this is going to be Mashiach. Just explain to Mashiach what it means to say. In Mashiach, every person as an individual have his individual contribution which he can give to everybody else, and that will be his institution. Because I'm an individual, I have there's something here about me, which I can give everybody else. At this present moment now, I'm giving it in a limited sense to my nearest, closest people. Sometimes they want to listen to what I have to say, sometimes they don't want to listen. In the Mashiach, I'll find the ways and means. My mind is going to be more clear. We generally will be more clear-minded. I will be able to share my individual message. Maybe 2 billion people in this world, I don't know how much. I will be able to share, every individual is going to be able to share their message to everybody. That is the greatest accomplishment. Fine. So I think I sort of had everything I wanted to say in my mind.
Wow, that's a lot.
I still have one more thing, but let's make it. Okay. So now that is more or less it. Now,
Yeah, I had a question. So you were saying about the biggest reward of Mashiach is that doing more mitzvahs, right? So that would explain schar mitzvah. The reward of a mitzvah is the mitzvah itself to do more mitzvahs.
Yeah, exactly. That is above kind of the highest descriptions of it is. Oh, this surpasses all of it. And the idea of schar mitzvah is actually based on the Rambam, which is very simple.
Right, of course. But my question is, so because we're explaining here that the schar of the mitzvah is the mitzvah, so does it go together with the first opinion that the greatest, when Moshiach comes, our greatest pleasure will be Hashem's, you said about Hashem's pleasure being our pleasure?
So the Rebbe said, well, it says it in Siddur.
It's not a contradiction?
One thing, the Rebbe, first of all, it says it in Siddur. Until the Rebbe said this Siddur, which was in Tovshin and Tess, the Rebbe had expounded on this idea of pleasure. Then the Rebbe Sikhs. So definitely it's definitely there. The Rebbe has gone one step further and is telling us the Rebbe has gone one step further. What the Rebbe has basically done, what the Rebbe has basically done here, he's done a very simple thing here. When you say that Hashem's pleasure is going to be my pleasure, it's something that's very hard for me to relate to today. Because I am a nivra, and Hashem is believable, I can't relate to Hashem's pleasure in this current moment today. So when you're telling me that Hashem's pleasure is going to be my pleasure,
but isn't that like what the concept of Basi Lagani is? Like bringing Hashem's pleasure down,
right?
the Shekhinah down.
Let me just bring
like
it. Let me just very good. So this is very. This is. I want to come back to that point. I want to get back to that point. So when we say, when the Rebbe say that this pleasure, Hashem's pleasure, is going to become my pleasure, it's something which is removed from me now. So what does that mean? It's something which I cannot relate to. So that they put Moshiach as something abstract, right? When the Rebbe tells us, no, it's my ability to function. This is exactly very clearly the end. My ability to function is currently here today already. It's been here for all the years, my ability to function. Now, I've come to realize that what is the most Moshiach? Actually, what I was been doing all along. But once upon a time, I wouldn't be able to see how doing one mitzvah, I would be able to bring me to do another mitzvah. I didn't always see that opportunity. Today, we can actually see it, using our seichel, doing it right, communicating with people. We can see how one mitzvah can bring to another mitzvah. We can see how we can change the world with doing mitzvahs. It's something we can see today. So now the Rebbe has told us, okay, we're still in Golos, but everything about your Moshe Mashiach is right here in our court, what we're ever doing. Just come to realize that this is it. What did you all think about the Basur Gami? Did this answer your?
No, sorry.
Yes, it answers my question.
I want to. Yes, this is very good. So what happens there? You bring down Basur Gami. We say Hashem coming down. So what happens is, this is very good. So when we say Hashem's coming down, the way we always understand it, something abstract.
What?
But when we say now Hashem's coming down, we've taken Hashem and we've removed it from the abstract, and we're saying it's actually me doing what Hashem wants, and that is Hashem coming down. Okay, so let's leave it at that. Okay, it's yeah.
What is that? The first few words. What's the meaning?
The actual literal meaning.
That and yeah. First of all, that. Yeah.
I came to my garden of my sister, my bride.
But then there's like a whole explanation. It's like what's the Hasidic explanation?
I to be honest with you, I don't have the skills on delivering.
No, not the exact
fancy words. I don't have,
I was wondering because the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe said a whole mimer of Basi Lagani. So what is the context? Forget about specific words. What's the
let me try this. I'm sorry. I would like to.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm sure there's many people about it. Expound this to no limit. I don't have these abilities. I'm very into the book, what it says, and sort of going a bit further and not more. Just let me bring out one point following this thing, what we were saying now. We all know about the Geula. The Rebbe explained many times the Geula coming in a split moment. We're all going to find ourselves in Yerushalayim, and we're all going to find ourselves in Yerushalayim. It's going to happen ahead of eye, as a wink of an eye. You all know that, right? Let me ask you. So when we say that is this all going to happen in a wink of an eye? Remember, the whole world is going to change. We're going to have
all the share for that.
All the bottom. That's what we're addressing right now. All the bottom. The 70 is moving right to the base mikvah. Its mikvah is going to be there with our information. Just to add, in the Rebbe in the sichos of Tavshin and Aleph Tavshin and Beis actually said, this is amazing. Right? It's amazing what the Rebbe said there. And by the way, I haven't seen anyone anywhere ever bring it down. But anyways, so the Rebbe said it several times that Tchias HaMeisim. We all know that Rebbe said Moshiach comes, Tchias HaMeisim of Tzaddikim will be then already when Moshiach comes. Moshe and Aaron is going to be that. This is something Rebbe said through all the years. But in the years of Nun Aleph and Beis, Rebbe says very clearly, this is the full phenomenon of Tchias HaMeisim. The full development of Tchias HaMeisim is going to be right up front. That means there's no Moshiach is going to come and then it's going to develop. I think it's going to become more exciting, and then eventually we're going to see the Tchias HaMeisim all the year. No, the Rebbe puts it right up front. So now, when we say when we say Moshiach is going to come, what we're actually talking about is something. All the shulim going there, Ches Meis all the Yidden, all the Botei Chabad, which you have so many Botei Chabad, they're all private houses to their Botei Chabad, all going there, going to part of Yerushalayim. We're going to have Torah mitzvahs, Torah mitzvahs, which most of them we don't know how to deal with. Yes, we learn a bit of Rambam, so we have some idea. We're going to have all these Torah mitzvahs. So it's a major transformation. Reality, split reality is just throwing a push right here in a bombshell. It's changing everything around. So let me ask you, when we have such a thing, what is our involvement? This is touching the point you just now said. What is my involvement in this process? What I'm doing now, and let's say I can do some good things. Sometimes I do better, sometimes I don't do so well, right? He's doing what, and this amazing change, amazing transformation, something which you cannot even imagine how it's going to be nowadays. It's totally nothing but we know of. No, what is my involvement in this thing? You don't have to answer it. Now, the way it works is, this is very important. There is nothing which happens without our involvement. So when you say Hashem is going to make such a major change, you know that I've said many years, many sitters, we know this again. Why you don't understand why Hashem doesn't bring the Geula? We all heard about this. So when you hear these words, why Hashem doesn't bring the Geula, what do we understand? Of course, the Geula belongs to Hashem. He's going to bring it. So basically what we learned today, and there's so much more in the Rebbe's Torah way, follows this theme. Geula is all about us. We're going to do it. So when the Rebbe says, so let me just put it in a few words. I don't know how much we can go into this, but what's happening here, the whole Geula is going to come through our involvement. We know ourselves, that is how it's going to happen. When the Rebbe says that we cannot understand why Moshiach has not come, why the Rebbe has not brought Moshiach, what it means is he does not understand why we do not realize that we can bring the whole Geula. He's talking about us. Why did he speak to Hashem? Why did he say Hashem? So, number one, the Rebbe spoke to Hashem through. Said many times, he doesn't understand why Hashem hasn't brought the Geula. But he also told us, he doesn't understand why we're not bringing it. He also told us about Moshiach, all these different things, opening our eyes. He spoke to us also. But there's something else, which is more we're going to be if we come next week. But it's based already what we discussed over here. Geula, by definition, is all about our avodah. What we said here is already enough to prove. We'll have more next week, but whenever we meet. Geula over here, by definition, is what from we learned this week, we can already understand that Geula, by definition, is our avodah. So when the Rebbe is, so being a good Geula is our avodah, when the Rebbe is saying he does not understand why the Hashem has not brought the Geula, what that means, following what the Rebbe has been teaching us all the years. The Rebbe has told us all the years what is Geula. It's a gedeh in avodah. It's a part of it. What that means is he does not understand why Hashem has not given us the insight to realize that we today can bring the Geula. Just to round us off, basically what the Geula means, that every year in the world, the Rebbe is saying, I don't know, how long, am I tiring you out with No, okay. Basically what it means is, the Rebbe is saying like this, once upon a time the message of the Geula was very abstract, it was about that. The Rebbe is saying today, you don't have to know, whatever you know, your knowledge about Yiddishkeit can be limited. You may think Yiddishkeit is charity, but you're a Yid and you know that there is such a thing as Yiddishkeit. You may be very limited. Every year today, regardless who it is, this is a whole Kiddush of our days, every person can come to realize that by doing Yiddishkeit, whatever he knows about Yiddishkeit, he can change the reality of the world around him. Based on that, we should all, whatever it's saying, because every person can come to realize, we should all realize by doing what we're meant to be doing, but it has to be, remember, the Geula, by doing what we're meant to be doing, but here we're referring to every single year. If it's just me, then it's not the Geula. Remember, the Geula is coming through me, and every single year. That is where Atmos is. In me and in every single year. It cannot be just Matan Torah was every year. Geula has to be every single year. Every year, regardless of the level of knowledge. Once upon a time, you could say this to certain Yidden who knew Chassidus, Yidden who knew a lot of Torah. This could be said about them. Today, the Rebbe is saying, every person in their level, because the Torah has proved itself so well in this Olam Hazeh, this generation, every year to just look at what's going on. Realize, if I do the right thing, what Hashem says, I will see the results. If we all Yidden come to this realization, that is, what does that mean? Following what Hashem says produces the results regarding the situation around me. If I do what Hashem says, everything is going to work out. I'll find the ways. Hashem will give me the insight. I'll find the logical ways how to deal with it. If once people realize this, that is the Geula. The Geula is what? I have the ability to follow Hashem. What did we say in the very beginning? Geula says, I don't have the ability to follow what Hashem says. Hashem has placed a restriction. I cannot do. There's only so much I can do. Geula means I have the ability. So now we're still in Geulas. But today's Geulas, there's no deterrent for me to increase in my doing and finding ways of doing what Hashem says to no limit. So therefore, we all realize that we could do what Hashem says to no limit. That is the Geula. So when the Rebbe says Hashem hasn't brought the Geula, it means he does not understand why Hashem did not make us realize, wake up and realize that we actually follow what Hashem says. Can we, meaning every year, realize this? That would be the Geula. Okay, this is, it's not the full thing, but I just wanted to bring out over here that whatever we, based on what we learned today, how Atzmus is actually in our action, this is what we sort of learned today. So just taking it to Geula, the whole Geula is all through us. So to process this information, we're going to have to speak about it more, but this is what, I'm sorry.
How could it be that the Iker of like the whole completion, the whole creation, all that, is not the Yid, it's the mission. We're saying it's first, it's the mission, and therefore then comes the Ani. So how could that be? That's
very, so yeah, but no, it's very good. So the point is, what we said over here, so now I have to understand where you're getting from. You say the mission, you mean affecting the world.
like what you were mentioning before.
Affecting the world.
Like or like a Maidani, the Maidani.
So what is the question? Because why would the world come before me?
Yeah, it comes before you, and then
the world will come before me.
See, the ultimate aspect is that the world is able to be actualized. So but it's about the world being actualized. It's not about the Yid actualizing the world.
It's a very good question. So let me put the answer is the way you put it in the Rebbe Sichos. So this is because I didn't explain myself properly here. The Nekuda is, it's not the world. When we come to this level of understanding, that it's the matara, the goal is just to be able to accomplish. The world is just a means given me the ability to accomplish. What is the accomplishment? Doing another mitzvah. So, in other words, it means, let us get to understand this. When I have today an ambition, I want to change the world. I have a certain way of understanding of Yiddishkeit of the Rebbe's Inyanim, and I want to change the world today to come to realize this understanding which I have of the Rebbe. Now, there's many people like that today. It's almost everybody here like that, right? They have a certain understanding of the Rebbe. They would like to bring it out to the world. So what is your thing is? You're interested in seeing the Rebbe's mission fulfilled. The vessel where this will be fulfilled is the world. But what is your thing? The Rebbe's mission what is in your mind is the Rebbe's mission being fulfilled. So when I say here that my ability to accomplish comes before me, basically that means my ability to bring here talking about Eibishter, but take it to the Rebbe, maybe it's easier for us to relate. Bring the Rebbe's message out. It's all pyramid. It's not the world. The world is just a vehicle where that's going to be fulfilled. This is explained very clearly in the Rebbe's Sichos. I don't have it here, but going back in the early years, I guess maybe these words will help you.
You're saying the ability is comes before us?
The ability to accomplish. The ability comes to my ambition to be accomplished comes before me. This is something which we can realize today. To accomplish what? To accomplish what? In the wording of the Rebbe here, the Sikha here, it says to accomplish do mitzvahs. The Rebbe says mitzvahs. Yeah, I think the question is, we're talking about the Tachtonim, and not so much about the Torah mitzvahs. We're talking about the world. We're not talking about the
More
Torah.
like a year.
Yeah. So okay, fine. So let's put Torah mitzvahs in one and do it in one category. So let's have it in the words, in the Rebbe's words, going back. The way the Rebbe puts it, we talk about Dirib Tachtonim. There is the Dirib Tachtonim meaning the world. The chitzonis of the deer. The chitzonis of the deer will be the outer shell of the deer, which is the world, the goyim, etc., etc. They're all going to remain here. They're all going to be part of this vision, fulfillment of this vision. Then there's the pnimius. What are the pnimius? The pnimius is Torah, mitzvahs, and the yid. So when we say my ability to accomplish, yes, it's going to be in the shell of the world. Remember, goyim, once I reach out to the goyim, affect the goyim, that means I brought out the message of the Rebbe fully. This is very clear in the Rebbe's Sikhs, which you may be able to get to one day. Once you affect the goyim, that's proven that you've done before the mission. But the goyim is just a shell of a vessel where this accomplishment is going to be achieved. What are the accomplishment? Is bringing out the greatness of the Rebbe to the world. Or, for somebody else, bringing out the greatness of Hashem. Bringing out the Torah mitzvahs. It's all about, so the pnimius is the Torah mitzvah. Does this answer your question?
I have a question.
So the wording here, you look at the wording here, if you would look at the wording here, in the city here, there's do one mitzvah, another mitzvah. It doesn't mention anything about the world. It just says the reward helps you to do another mitzvah. So it's very clearly the focus is the mitzvah. The focus is the mitzvah, all the yid, etc.
What about the pasuk Bishvili Nivra Eilam? Is that a contradiction or is that?
No, that's not a contradiction at all. But the question is how much, because it's not a question why, because the Rebbe actually addresses this question in many places. We're talking about Bishvili Nivra Eilam, then we're talking about Ani the Vresi the Shamash Kohen.
Exactly.
It's amazing. So, but you want to do everything today? That's fine, but it's a bit of I don't know how to do everything today, but I just mentioned in one of the footnotes here, I think I bring the quote here, where it actually addresses this slightly, I'm not sure. It's my, listen, you listen, I spoke everything I had piled up over here.
Is it possible that Bishvili Nivra Eilam is to help us have the confidence to do what Hashem wants?
One doesn't understand. Bishvili Nivra Eilam. We're talking on this level. Bishvili means me. What am I? I am my ambition to see the truth coming out. That is what I am. This is what we're saying. Before me comes my ambition.
So it's not a contradiction.
What?
It's not a contradiction.
It's not a contradiction. No, we've just taken the Bishvili. We've shifted the Bishvili. Till now, Bishvili. Me, and Abish were two separate things. Me and Torah mitzvahs were two separate things. Now the Bishvili, is actually doing what Abish wants. I want to see how the Rebbe's mission is fulfilled.
So it's living from a place of Atma. So if you see that you're one with Hashem, then it's not a contradiction to the Bishvili Nivra Eilam is to serve Hashem.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So basically it means that Bishvili Nivra Eilam, if the one essence with Hashem, we're one with Hashem, so we're one with Hashem. Hashem created us to serve Him, and I mean, the whole world was created for us to serve Him. So now Bishvili is like we are one with Him.
If you're seeing, you're identifying yourself as
no,
your.
not Hashem Hashem.
No, I'm saying you're identifying yourself as your nefesh kiss, not your nefesh promise.
Yeah.
If you identify yourself as your nefesh kiss, as your godly soul, then you're seeing yourself as one with Hashem, and then you could do Hashem as well.
No, just let me.
Is that all?
Do something here. I just want to help with the point that it's comes at the very last. Remember, when we're talking about this thing about one with Hashem, what that means is what happens is that one moves from the me. Remember, the me is moved from the mayon to the hafotza, fulfilling what Hashem wants. That is Atmas. Fulfilling what Hashem wants, that is Atmas. As long as there's me, I'm discussing about myself. Okay, there's me, it could be nefesh l'kis, could be that, can be this. That is not Atmas. Atmas is fulfilling what Hashem wants. And the Rebbe is saying that what are we today? What we can today realize that my ambition to fulfill that is before myself. The Atmas is before me. But what is the Atmas is really my ambition is my ambition to accomplish. What is my ambition to accomplish? Could be my children should have a good life, my family should be happy. That is all included. It's the being, doing, changing things, improving things. That is coming before me.
Like,
Me, including myself, it does not exclude
The
making my life better off. It's not excluding, it doesn't exclude anything, it's just going above everything, beyond everything. I'm not limited to just do me, I'm limited in changing the world. I'm an institution.
that would be Hafatzas Hamayanis?
Would be coming home and being nice to your family. It's being.
You say that Chesed starts at home.
The exact wonderful.
So
It's a perspective.
Yeah, that's the hardest institution to overcome is your own house. Yes, it starts from there, right?
Who wrote that quote that the Chesed starts at home?
I don't know. Okay, fine. I think this is that's enough. Or are you? It's up to you. I can.
Did you do the last?
I can share. I didn't do the very last dose because the idea which is there in the very last dose is basically conveyed in what we already said. And just to, I don't want to tire you. Just show you everything I wrote in. So that's fine. Okay.
We're gonna have another class.
If you, now, if you just to help now, this to come back to the initial thing we were saying. So this idea, once you understand Moshiach as such, Moshiach can from we learn today, we can really understand how Moshiach or something can be communicated to anybody. What you're telling somebody is, which I personally had experience in doing this. You take a person who's totally fried, who doesn't identify with anything in Yiddishkeit at all, right? Take even a Geula Havdil, and you explain them. This is the way how you do it. Now this explanation explains to everybody in the world. To the Lubavitcher who disputes your beliefs from top to bottom, the Lubavitcher neighbor, to the half of the goy, to the Satmar. This is the basic idea. You can explain to everybody. Once you understand Moshiach is the ability to accomplish. What you're telling, when you tell a person is today, we're living in a world of chaos. And the person may tell you, today is worse than ever before, whatever. May not tell you that, but we live in a world of chaos. He tell them like this, the Rabbi Schtrocks, who said the fact that today, majority of the nations, all the nations who are not talking about the third world nations, but the nations who have a say in the events of the world, etc., they all formally recognize the idea of being kind, we have treating each other normally. The belief in war as a means of getting power is under the carpet, it's not something which is proclaimed, it's something to be ashamed of, etc. So basically what we see today in the world, that the idea of being kind to other people, treating other people nice, that is something which is accepted in the world today. Whether it's followed through or not, doesn't make a difference. The fact that this is well accepted, it definitely has an effect. So what the Rebbe has explained us, because we see this change in the world, that shows that the vision of the Eibishter, where there should be one's life in the world, should be people should contribute to each other. Hashem should have an abode in this world, that people should be kind to each other, is something which has developed in today's world. So now, what happened in history was someone could be a very righteous person doing the greatest things. Nevertheless, this person could have ended up in prison because he didn't follow the religion of the melech of his whatever, whichever country it lived. He didn't follow that religion. He was doing the right thing. He was persecuted for doing the right thing because he didn't follow the religion of this country. So people were persecuted throughout history. People were persecuted. They were very good people, did very good things, didn't. It could be also a happen going. They were persecuted, they were put to death because they were doing good things. The Rebbe tells us today the fact we see that how the world in general has embraced the idea of doing good actions, etc., etc. What that shows is that the fulfillment of the vision of the Torah is potentially here already. So therefore, what we speak to the person is that tell him, this is the message. Now this message we told anybody. If you, once upon a time, you would do good actions, you could take a criminal who just walked out of prison. He's been his whole life in this prison. He doesn't need to know how to behave like a human being, how to treat people normally in the street. Tell this person, listen here, you will change your attitude to people. And you will try to be more respectful to people and be kind to them. you will see how your life will come better. You won't have to run and roam the streets and steal from people. You'll actually maybe be able to build a source of income for yourself, etc. You're speaking to the person on his level, and you're telling him that if he will adopt the Sheva mitzvahs, this is what being normal, treating other people with respect. In other words, which is, as in essence, Sheva mitzvahs. If you will adopt this into your life, you will see your life will improve. You won't have to follow these corrupt ways you've been following. The same thing you take to any businessman. If you take a business and you, whatever this businessman believes in, if he believes in spreading this type of charity or this type of, he has this ideology he believes in, whichever, as long as it's a good, something positive, tell him if he will put his mind and try to increase in that, he is guaranteed, if he knows that Hashem is with him, he is guaranteed to be successful. This is the Rebbe is telling us. The Rebbe is telling us now. The only way you can give such a message to anyone is by telling them it's coming from the Rebbe, because you don't try and tell a person that today, when you do good, you will see success. There's no backing to this argument to say such a thing. But because the case in the world, the way we see it, is just as it was always. But when you explain that it's coming from the Rebbe, and everyone knows the Rebbe was a person who was responsible, cared about it. He was a true person. And you're telling this is comes to the Rebbe that you talk to this person now about his individual life. You're telling him about his children, whatever. He doesn't know how to work too long with his children. You tell him, if you will take the initiative, go for therapy, whatever, try to go, be kinder to them, be kinder to other people. Try and increase, make your business bigger, whatever. Be creative, use initiative to be bigger, to be greater, to be able to do more good to people. Yeah, without taking care of yourself, yes, you should live good, etc., etc. You will be successful. You're telling this is coming from the Rebbe. There's no one who will not buy into it. You're telling him about him. You're telling him that he can be, and you're explaining him how it's coming from how it works. Everyone in the world will buy it. You can explain this basically. Every person in the court explaining it in their life frame, the frame of their life, in their language, which fits them. This message you can tell anybody. This message of Peter is Geula. When you tell a person that you can do good and you will have the ability to increase in good, you will see the effect. This, according to the definition of the Torah, is good. So you're talking to the person about his life. You haven't mentioned one word of Geula. You haven't mentioned one word of your Moshiach. You've given him the basic message of Geula. You've given him the whole message, which is the whole message. Everything else is just contained in that. You've given him the whole message of Geula. He will follow through on that, and he will come to realize, okay, this is Geula, this is Melech HaMashiach, etc. So this is what basically is once we take Geula, we take it from the abstract, and we're going to bring it down to an Avodah. There's not a thing about Geula which does not make sense. On the contrary, the only thing which doesn't make sense, the only question which will ever remain about Geula is, where was I told today? Okay, that's great.
I just have one question. When you said in the beginning about we are the essence of Hashem, mitzvahs like make us stores. You said that we are
Atzmas.
we're atzmas.
When we're following, we say the word atzmas. We're going to get. We have maybe get to this another time. Say atzmas. Remember, we're not focusing on ourselves. The moment we focus on ourselves, it's me.
No, but atzmas means when we do mitzvahs or
when I'm doing, take an example. When I see this, I don't know who you meet every day in the street. When I interact tomorrow, I'm going to interact with someone in the street in a way which I never interacted with them so nicely. I will, whatever. This time I'm going to interact successfully with someone who I didn't manage to get on with, and I managed to overcome myself. I now learned how to overcome with it, how to get on with it. That is atzmas. Okay, it's all about the act.
Oh, the act.
And remember, when someone accomplishes the act, he learns how to interact with someone, which I never knew I could do it. I always thought, no, this is who I am and this is who he is. No, it's actually a way of communicating. And this is purely logically. Remember, we never have to jump out of our skin. We're never thinking of anything flowery up there. No, it's pure practice, being just normal, just being more honest to myself. Learning, teaching, educating myself how to interact with other people. That is atzmas. Yeah.
So doing any mitzvahs is atzmas?
Yes, when I'm aware the Atzmus is doing the mitzvah with awareness that I have unlimited potential for me to increase. The only thing which I have to overcome is overcome itself and become to realize and find the ways and means in myself how to increase. But this idea of finding the ways and means in myself how to increase, that is going to continue all the way through Moshiach, where we're always going to continuously trying to more ways. I want more friends. Today, 10 friends is enough. In Moshiach, I want to have 500 friends. No, it's just we just be more friendly with other people, getting across with other people, finding a common language, and that atmosphere is the awareness that it's all in my core to do it. The awareness that it's in my core to do it, and I have the ability. I just have to find it within myself. That is where it is. Okay. Yeah.
That would go with sound like him. We're all created in the image of God.
Sorry.
Because that goes hand in hand with that we're all created with sound like him, and we try to interact with each other and everything.
Yes, but the truth is, and now when you're talking about Telemakim, instead of thinking about the Eibishter, the abstract Eibishter, I never knew who he is. So now, when I think about the Kim, I'm going to think about every Yid around me, how much I'm communicating, how much am I communicating with them, how well am I communicating with them, how well am I treating them. That is the Eibishter. That is that. So now I don't have to think about the Eibishter as something about me. No, think about exactly what's going on. B'nai Klal Yisrael, I don't know how to put it together. The Rebbe says when it comes to Matan Torah, I know you're listening, so I'll throw it in. Matan Torah, we always know the Eibishter Atzmus revealed himself, right? Atzmus revealed himself to Matan Torah. Right? We all know that. So how did the Rebbe explain how Atzmus revealed himself? And the Rebbe says it like this. All the Yidden, it's amazing, it's very clear the way Rebbe explains it, several places. All the Yidden, to explain that a bit better, we all know when Hashem spoke, Hashem spoke, he said a dibros, on every dibur, the souls of the Yidden sort of went out. Right. How do we always understand Klais and Nefesh? We understand it the way we always understood it. Hashem reveals himself. Remember, Hashem's revealing himself with all the Malach HaShor. And Atzmus Mahus now is speaking to us. Klais and Nefesh, obviously. Hashem is speaking to us. So we have the Klais and Nefesh, right? Yeah. Amazing. So here you have, it's amazing to see how the Rebbe does this. It says, why did they didn't have Klais and Nefesh? I don't want to go into all the details.
And of course.
Why did they didn't have Klais and Nefesh? The Rebbe says they had Klais and Nefesh because they decided with such a firm commitment, in the Rebbe's words, their bechira, from their own independent choice, they decided they're going to do what Hashem wants. And they decided with such fervor, that is why they had Klais and Nefesh.
Wow.
So now, what the Rebbe's done over here, we have Atzmus. We're thinking about Atzmus. Terrorism, we know when everything came over showered on us. It came all from above. So where did the Rebbe tell us where was Atzmus? All the Yidden came to one understanding. Okay? Now, the next time we have Atzmus, when we all come to one understanding, that we can fulfill what the Rebbe says, or etc. That is Atzmus again. That's Moshiach. It's so when we talk about Tzelem and Kim, think about people around us. Okay. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you so much.
You're amazing.